Good morning, students. Hope all of you are fine. Beta, in this lecture also we will continue with chapter 3 of history, and name of this chapter is Nazism and the rise of Hitler. In previous lecture we discussed about the establishment of Nazi view. With that we also discussed about the racial utopia, and the other topic that we have discussed, those were the steps to death, that how Jews and other undesirable people of Germany, they were put to death. So the today topic that we are discussing, that is the youth in Nazi Germany. Beta, Hitler, he was fanatically interested in the youth of the country. He felt that a strong Nazi society could be established only by teaching children Nazi ideology. Just for that, all the schools were cleansed and purified. Here, cleansed and purified means, beta, teachers who were Jews or politically unreliable, they were dismissed. Even children were also segregated. German and Jews could not sit together or play together. And later on, undesirable children like Jews, the physically handicapped, and gypsies were thrown out of schools, and finally in the 1940s they were taken to the gas chambers. And the good German children, they were subjected to a process of Nazi schooling. And this Nazi schooling, it was a prolonged period of ideological training. Like school textbooks were rewritten, racial science was introduced, even stereotypes about Jews were popularized. Means students were just told to be hatred of Jews, and children were taught to be loyal and submissive, hate Jews, and worship Hitler. Even the function of sports was to nurture a spirit of violence. As you know, beta, actually games are meant for the team spirit, the cooperation and the coordination. But in Germany, sports was to create the feeling of violence and aggression among children. Even various youth organizations were made responsible for educating German youth. For that, there was a proper process. Like 10-year-old had to enter junk walk. At the age of 14, all boys had to join the Nazi youth organization that was known as Hitler Youth. And in this Hitler Youth, students, they learn to worship war, glorify aggression and violence, and condemn the democracy, hate Jews, communists, gypsies, and all those categories, those were considered as undesirable. And after a long period of rigorous ideological and physical training, they joined the labor service, and it was usually at the age of 18. Then they had to serve in the armed forces and enter one of the Nazi organization. So this was the process of the Nazi schooling in Germany. As this schooling was basically meant for boys, right? Now there was the different code of conduct for the females also. So the next topic is the Nazi cult of motherhood. Children in Nazi Germany were repeatedly told that women were radically different from men. The fight for equal rights for men and women that had become part of democratic struggles everywhere was wrong, and it would destroy the society. While boys were taught to be aggressive, masculine, and steel hearted, girls were told that they had to become good mothers and rear pure blooded Aryan children. Girls had to maintain the purity of the race, distance themselves from Jews, look after the home, and teach their children Nazi values. They had to be the bearers of the Aryan culture and race. It means that in Nazi Germany, they had very conservative approach towards the females. In 1933, Hitler said In my state, the mother is the most important citizen. But in Nazi Germany, all mothers were not treated equally. It means there was the difference in the spoken and the practical. Women who bore racially undesirable children were punished, and those who produced racially desirable children were awarded. They were given favored treatment in hospitals and were also entitled to concession in shops and on theatre tickets and railway fares also. To encourage women to produce many children, honor crosses were awarded. Like a bronze cross was given for 4 children, silver for 6, and gold for 8 or more. All Aryan women who deviated from the prescribed code of conduct were publicly condemned and severely punished. Those who maintained contact with Jews, Poles, and Russians were paraded through the town with shaved heads, blackened faces, and placards hanging around their necks, announcing, "I have sullied the honors of the nation." Even many of the women they received jail sentences and lost civic honor as well as their husbands and families for this criminal offense. So this type of treatment was given to the women during the Nazi Germany. Now the next topic is the art of propaganda. The Nazi regime used language and media with care and often to great effect. Like I have told you so many words like concentration camps, final solution. So these type and the disinfectant area. So these type of words were used. Like the terms they coined to describe their various practices are not only deceptive, they are chilling. Nazi never used the words kill or murdered in their official communication. Mass killings were termed as special treatment, final solution for the youth, euthanasia for the disabled, and selection and disinfections. Afterward, evacuation meant deporting people to gas chambers. Do you know what the gas chambers were called? They were labeled as the disinfectant area and looked like bathrooms equipped with fake shower heads also. Media was carefully used to win support for the regime and popularize its worldview. Nazi ideas were spread through visual images, films, radio, posters, and catchy slogans and leaflets. In poster groups identified as the enemies of German were stereotyped, mocked, abused, and described as evil. Socialists and liberals were represented as weak and degenerate. It means if you will see the proper system was there. Even the people, media and the world was not aware whatever was happening in Germany. Even propaganda films were made to create hatred for Jews. Like the most infamous film was The Eternal Jew. Orthodox Jews were stereotyped and marked. They were shown with flowing beards, wearing kaftans, whereas in reality it was difficult to distinguish German Jews by their outward appearance because they were a highly assimilated community. They were referred to as vermin, rats, and pests. Their movements were compared to those of rodents. Nazism worked on the minds of the people and tapped their emotion and turned their hatred and anger at those marked as undesirable. It means all the scene was created in such a way that the German Nordic Aryan German people they started hating Jews. Nazi made equal efforts to appeal to all the different sections of the population. They sought to win their support by suggesting that Nazis alone could solve all the problem. So this way, this all is known as the Nazi propaganda. As you know, beta, why we are saying in propaganda, because the things are presented to the public in such a way that they were highly influenced by the Nazism. Now, beta, the next topic is the ordinary people and the crimes against humanity. So, how did the common people react to Nazism? Many saw the world through Nazi eyes and spoke their mind in Nazi language. They felt hatred and anger surge inside them when they saw someone who looked like a Jew. They marked the houses of Jews and reported suspicious neighbors. They genuinely believed Nazism would bring prosperity and improve the general well-being. Means people were highly influenced by that the Jews are undesirable. But not every German was a Nazi. Many organized active resistance of Nazism, braving police repression and death. The large majority of Germans, however, were passive onlookers and apathetic witnesses, means they were just quite neutral. They were too scared to act, to defer, to protest. They preferred to look away. So, Pastor Neo Miller, a resistance fighter, observed an absence of protest and uncanny silence amongst ordinary Germans in the face of brutal and organized crimes committed against people in the Nazi Empire. And see, this poem was also written by them. So, what Jews felt in Nazi Germany is a different story altogether. Charlotte Burdett secretly recorded people's dreams in her diary and later published them in a highly disconcerting book called The Third Reach of Dreams. She described how Jews themselves began believing in the Nazi stereotypes about them. Like the whatever the views of Nazi was there for the Jews, now Jews also started believing in that. They dreamt of their hooked noses, black hair and eyes, Jewish looks and body movements. The stereotypical image publicized in the Nazi press haunted the Jews. They troubled them even in their dreams. Jews died many deaths even before they reached the gas chambers. So beta, this was the topic for today. Rest of the topic we will discuss in next lecture. Hope all of you have understood this topic, and please read all the topics again. Thank you and have a nice day.